So one thing that's going to be really helpful for us as we progress through algebra is we're going to use an XY table to graph our lines. Now, we know how to graph when we're given an equation like this, where we have y equals mx plus b as our format. We know that 1/2 is our slope and -4 is the y-intercept. But as we move into looking at equations that are written well, more complexly, right? They're going to be different. We're going to start to use an X and Y table. So we're going to create these on our own. These are not always going to be given to us. This is actually the warm-up problem on the next page. This is going to be number 4. So you're going to do this with me in your math composition book, and then you'll see it as the first problem on the next slide, and you're not going to need to do it again. That would be silly. We're going to do it together first right now. So we're just going to pick some values for X, and we're going to apply this formula to see what Y equals, okay? Typically, we like to use 4 numbers. And when we do that, we'll do like -2, -1, 0, 1. Actually, we're going to use 5 numbers. So these are the numbers that we just typically pick every time. So you're going to do the same thing. So we're just going to plug this in. And a lot of times we can do this as mental math. So 1/2 of -2 is -1. -1 minus 4 is -5. Let's do another one. -1. 1/2 of -1 is -1/2. Minus 4 is -4.5. 1/2 of 0 is 0. Minus 4 is 4. And you can probably start to see the pattern, right? As we are increasing by 1 on X, we're increasing positive slope, makes sense. We're increasing by 1/2. There's our positive slope of 1/2. So our slope is being applied every time we increase by 1. So let's keep this going. You can already guess that this is going to be, actually, sorry, this should have been -4. This is going to be -3.5, and then this will be -3. And let's just double check this last one. 1/2 of X, if X is 2, 1/2 of 2 is 1. 1 minus 4 is -3. So now, let's see if I can do this. No, that's not what I wanted. Undo that. Let's just do this. So we're going to have, you guys already have this in your composition books. You're already good to go. You've got your lines. You're just going to bold them. You're going to label Y and X, always, always, always. You're going to put some lines. Our range for X is -2 to 2, but our range for Y is -5 to -3. So actually that tells us we're going to be graphing down here. But I'm just going to put some lines, kind of space them out evenly as possible. You already have your lines on your graph composition book, so that's nice. And my first point is going to be -2 and -5. So go over to -2, down to -5, right about here. -1 and -4.5. Somewhere right, that's not 4.5. Let me make it bigger this way. Mine will not be as accurate as yours because yours is on graph notebook paper. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3.5. -3.5, excuse me, gotta be precise. 2 and -3. Somewhere right about there. Then, oh, rulers are gonna be your friend, people. Rulers, you need rulers. Something like that, pretty good for freehand. And that's our line. So make sure it is crossing, right? Let's go back to this. We knew that our y-intercept would be -4. And here it is here, crossing the y-axis at -4. And our slope is up 1 over 2. So if we had actual grid lines here, we could see we're going up 1 over 2. I can do this in a different color. Up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. So this is what the line should look like. If you remember, Desmos, if you are ever unsure about your graph or you just need to, check and make connections, go to desmos.com, go into the graphing calculator, put this equation in and check it with the accuracy of your own graph. Okay, and the next slide, you're gonna do 3 more warm-up problems. Just write down the equation, okay, and then graph it in your graph composition book and check your answer with Desmos just to be sure you're doing it correctly. And then we'll move on to looking at point slope.